Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I hope you guys are having a magnificent Saturday and a thoroughly brilliant weekend. And I'm seriously hoping, even more so than that tomorrow, Sunday, it gets even better with Chelsea building upon a brilliant result on Thursday night at home to Tottenham by absolutely smashing our London rivals West Ham United. Now, West Ham, it might not be as big as Tottenham. It might not be as big as Arsenal. Probably isn't even as big as like a Liverpool or a Manchester United or newly Manchester City. But Chelsea-West Ham is West versus East. It's a huge game for so many reasons. And it's also massive for Chelsea right now in the run-up to the end of this season, where we can still just about believe that we can get a Europa League spot. Chelsea could finish in 6th place in the Premier League table. And I think when we look at the way that we played in the second half against Villa, we've got players seemingly ready to come back now from injury for this final hurdle that we've got to cover and jump over and absolutely leap beyond, in my opinion. For me, that Spurs performance should be enough of a catalyst and enough of a reason for all of those players that either played that game on Thursday. Yes, it might be physically tough to bounce back and play again at Sunday flipping lunchtime when you want to be at home eating a flipping roast dinner. But this is Premier League football, and this is where we need these players to deliver. We've got to believe, having seen the little tactical changes and tweaks that Pochettino's made, it's got to be worth going for it. United have been inconsistent all season. Newcastle have been inconsistent all season. Both teams have also got some fixtures left that they might look at and think, we're not sure we're going to win that one. Whereas Chelsea, I think we got West Ham, Nottingham Forest, Brighton and Bournemouth. And to be quite honest, we should be beating every single one of these teams. Based on the way that we played against Spurs, there's no reason why Chelsea can't and shouldn't go out there and get 12 points out of 12. And for Pochettino and this Chelsea team, if we can finish the season with 5 wins in a row, then there's no doubt in my mind, there's no question that massive progress has been made. I saw a really interesting Twitter thread that actually said 7 reasons why Chelsea are actually doing really well. And a lot of it is factual information. We're scoring loads of goals. We got more points than we did last season. We're higher in the league table. And Chelsea-West Ham, if we just, instead of like getting carried away, and I know it's me that just did that, but if we don't get carried away about winning all 4 and we just focus on West Ham, we beat West Ham tomorrow, and I'd say we're pretty much guaranteed to at minimum finish 8th, even if we capitulate in the games against Forest, Brighton and Bournemouth. So winning this game should mean everything because it's a derby. It should mean everything because the players will be feeling confident. There's a couple of players when we build this team today that I want to speak about specifically when it comes to the growth in confidence and what the support of us fans will mean to some of these individuals, but Pochettino and also the team in general. I've been slated again this week because I've been saying positive things. Since I said that Pochettino should be sacked, I've seen a turnaround. I've seen things happen, and I'm not going to say that Chelsea have fully turned a corner until we build upon the performances, until we build upon the Tottenham result. And that's been the case all season long. Whenever we see something good and we start to praise it, we either get a humiliating defeat or just a shocking performance that leads to drop points, and then we wonder why we're clambering, looking for any kind of like dregs, I'm going to say, which is like the bottom of a drink. We're looking for the dregs of a good season here. That's what we're searching for. That's what we're hunting. Because overall, Pochettino said it himself in his press conference, performance-wise, he thinks that we would be in the top 4. The reality of the situation is the inconsistencies and Chelsea's inability to look at each game as important as the next one or the last one has been the downfall. Chelsea cannot build upon great performances. We can't build upon good results. Yes, a lot of that is down to injury, ruining starting 11s, ruining things that work. But as much as it was Thursday against Spurs, and let's be honest, it wasn't an easy game. Tottenham weren't great, but they've got quality players all over the field. So it wasn't something that we could just coast through. We couldn't just steamroll ourselves through that game. It was tough. We got the job done. And there are some players that might well be back on the bench for Chelsea to call upon if things do get difficult against West Ham, which, to be quite fair, I think it will be. West Ham are an incredibly physical side, and they've had good results against Chelsea in recent times. We've got Christopher Nkunku should be on the bench. Levi Colwill should be back on the bench. Axel Disasi also. And I am really, really excited for this game. I think Chelsea, that we played so well against Tottenham. Everybody, to a man, was fantastic. And West Ham are going to offer something very different. Spurs are always going to try and play. And I think the fact that they were just totally off that day meant that Chelsea could kind of pick through them. We weren't just looking for scraps. We actually could see tangible, feasible weaknesses that Pochettino exploited perfectly with the way that he set the team up, and the players executed everything that he wanted to do. A David Moyes team, it could be a lot more difficult, but Chelsea Football Club have lost only one of our last 17 matches at Stamford Bridge. So I do want to say that it's another stat that's kind of gone under the radar. And it's not like I'm not looking for positives. It's not that I've not been looking for great things. It's just the lows this season, they've been low. The lows have been seriously, seriously low. And that last defeat, I think, was the 4-2 at home to Wolves. The 5-0 against Arsenal was just like, wow. Like, is there any way that we can bounce back from this? And is there any way that we can kind of forgive the way that we just crumbled and just said to Arsenal, look, just get your hand and imagine putting it on a Premier League trophy. That's basically what we tried to do. Arsenal are playing right now at the time of me recording this video. It's 0-0 after 40 minutes whilst I'm recording. But Pochettino has made adaptations. And what I've wanted all season from Poch's Chelsea is to actually see something that resembles a system. I want to see something where we're looking at the opposition and Pochettino tactically is saying and doing things that the players respond to combat the opposition that we're facing. And West Ham are going to offer a massive challenge, but with the injuries that Chelsea have got, I think the team pretty much picks itself. But we're going to go through it and talk about some important players now. Petrovic is the goalkeeper. Not really much else to say there. Alfie Gilchrist at right back. Chalobah Badiashile and Mark Cucurella. I think Chelsea's back four were fantastic in that last game. Not perfect, because I think Moises Caicedo made everyone look perfect because he tidied up so much in front of the back line. Alfie Gilchrist, I would say that there is a shout here for Kofi Achiampong, who came on against Spurs. I think he made 4 blocks in 12 minutes, which is phenomenal. And that was more than anyone in the Spurs team. But Alfie Gilchrist does have that little bit extra experience, and I don't think it would be smart of Pochettino to change something that won and be like, look, Kofi Achiampong is 17 years old. He did really well when he came on. But we didn't just throw Alfie Gilchrist in at the deep end with Premier League starts. We gave him minutes off the bench, came on against Palace, and it was that kind of built his confidence, and it built his rapport with Pochettino to trust him, and for Gilchrist to trust Pochettino at the same time. So that back four there, Trevoh Chalobah has been absolutely massive. I think there's been a lot said about Trev, about how underrated he is, how he doesn't get as much credit, probably as much airtime in global football and media compared to like a Gallagher, James, Mount, these players that have come through the academy. And Trevor's always kind of had a battle against him where he's been trying to prove people wrong. And in the process of doing that, he's always putting in solid displays. Mark Cucurella, he's been the talk of the town this week, this bloke. He's the remontada, as people like to call it. It's been amazing to see Cucurella in the last game and a half of football in a Chelsea shirt. He's been magnificent. And I think this is going to be another big game for him to build upon that form, use that confidence, and to be fair, there's a real opportunity here for him to cement a starting place going into next season for Chelsea. There's a lot of talk that maybe we sign a left-back. Ben Chilwell's not been anywhere near the standard that we've expected this year, and he's always bloody injured. So this is Cucurella's time, and he's currently taking it. We move into the midfield pivot of dreams. It actually has become so painstakingly obvious that Enzo has been an issue for us this season. Conor Gallagher and Caicedo look so comfortable alongside one another in the Chelsea midfield with the introduction of the inverted fullback, with Mark Cucurella coming up, Gilchrist coming up, Chalobah even advancing up too, with Gilchrist covering him. It's dynamic. This Chelsea team, there's a lot of different methods and a lot of different ways that we can get the ball forward, transition and hurt opposition. We move into the front four. Madueke, Palmer, Mudryk and Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson, more open play goals this season than Bukayo Saka. We got to say it. Bukayo Saka, brilliant player. But Nicholas Jackson, a man under scrutiny every single week almost, because as much as he might do a lot of good things, he so often does so many "what are you doing, Nico" moments. There's a lot of them. Mudryk, there is a clip going around of him giving little high fives and hand slaps to the crowd before taking a corner at Stamford Bridge. At the moment, Mudryk is probably still one of the lower confidence players when it comes to that front four. But I think, once again, we saw improvements in the Spurs game. He kind of went missing a little bit as the game went on. But it's a big game for Mudryk. And when you hear my prediction, you'll see what I think is going to happen there. Noni Madueke as well. Pochettino came out and said he was unbelievable in that match against Spurs. And to be quite honest, he's absolutely right. I didn't give him anything in the 6 things we learned. But on reflection, I've watched a lot of highlights back from this game. I've watched a lot of analysis from this Chelsea-Tottenham performance because it was so good. And I wanted to understand why it was so good and what was so different to make it so good that we've not seen often enough. And Noni Madueke, when isolating fullbacks, going one-on-one, looking to dribble past players, I think he's in the top like 5% of people in European leagues to actually try and drive and run on at players. I don't remember the exact stat. Cole Palmer, relatively quiet against Spurs, but that free kick, it's absolutely unbelievable. The technique on that free kick where Jackson scores the header off the bar is unbelievable from Cole Palmer. And I think this has been another one of the big points at Chelsea where if it isn't Cole Palmer scoring, then what happens? If Palmer's not in the team like at the Emirates, what happens? And what we're seeing right now is Noni is stepping up. Jackson is stepping up. Players are stepping up. Caicedo is looking unbelievable. And that is what we need to see. And that is how Chelsea build. All of the good performances, it always comes unstuck if we put in a lackluster, fightless display. And it's up to Pochettino to really home in on those good points that we saw against Villa, that we saw against Spurs. And Pochettino himself right now is bullish. He's responding in press conferences with a lot more gusto. He seems to be like, you know what? I'm here now and we're starting to play some good football on the field. So as long as the results are doing the talking, people can say whatever they want, scrutinise me, jeopardise what job I've done at this club. And to be quite fair to Pochettino, this is the attitude that I think the players are feeding off of. We've not heard anything bad from the players about Poch. And when he comes across more confident, when he comes across more aggressive in press conferences, I think the players are feeding off of that. And I think as a lot of fans, myself included, that have really struggled to warm to him, really struggled to believe that he's the right guy, even though there's clear progress from last year, I think this is the way to go. And if we beat West Ham, another massive London derby win at Stamford Bridge, let's see what happens to Man United this weekend, Newcastle as well. This is a huge game for Chelsea. No mistakes, no questions. This is massive, and I do think we're going to get the job done. And I think we're going to do it in style. I really, really think we're building here. Chelsea 4, West Ham 0. That is my score prediction. I'm going with 2 for Cole Palmer, 1 for Mudryk, and a goal for Benoit Badiashile. That is what I'm going for. It's a rogue prediction. It's a big one, but I believe we're getting this one done. Let me know your thoughts, your score predictions for this game in the comments down below. And let's get excited, Blues. We've got 4 more matches to go. And then it is silly season again, transfer season. We're going to be linked with all and sundry. Pochettino still might lose his job. We don't know what's coming. But I'm absolutely buzzing for this game tomorrow. And I hope you guys are too. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you straight after for 6 things we learn if YouTube processes it. Ciao.